How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We are back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we have the complete unit guide for the new LR Turles. So in this video, we are going to break down everything you need to know about this new character. We are going to overview his potential, his passive, his kit, everything you need to know about what this guy is capable of. Then we could showcase him in a 55% showcase, and then from there we will go and talk about some of his best teams and link partners. They will be brief overviews of those things. If you want to check out my full explanation for the breakdown of hidden potential and link partners, please check out the videos I will link in the descriptions down below. So with that said, let's go ahead and start by hopping in to the passive. So a reminder, he is a yellow coin LR and he is leading space traveling warriors and low class warrior for key 3 HP attack defense 200%. Pretty standard for yellow coin LRs. His 18 key will massively raise his attack and raise his defense for 1 turn while causing mega colossal damage. His 12 key will greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn while causing colossal damage and greatly lowering enemy attack and defense. Passive includes an entrance animation that can be activated when you have a space traveling warriors or terrifying conquerors ally on the team upon his entry turn. It'll give him key 6 and damage reduction rate 10% for 1 turn, while also providing space traveling warriors and terrifying conquerors allies key 1 attack 20 plus an additional 30% for planetary destruction allies for 4 turns. Basic effects include attack and defense 250%, chance of forming a critical hit, and damage reduction rate 50%. When HP is 50% or more, he guards all attacks, and when receiving an attack, he gets an additional 300% defense. When attacking with 18 or more key, he gets 200% attack and launches an additional super attack. For every super attack performed at 18 or more key, he gets an additional 3 key up to 6, and for every every time he attacks with 24 key, he gets an additional 200% attack, along with a chance of performing critical hit up 20%. For every super attack performed at 24 key, he gets an additional key 3 up to 6. Now, he does have a domain, which we'll get to in a second, that can be activated when the Tree of Might is activated. He gets an additional key 2 per key sphere obtained, helps him hit that 24 key for that extra offensive buff, as well as recovers 5% HP per key sphere obtained up to 50%, as well as an additional 200% attack and chance for a critical hit 30% when attacking. He also gets an additional 25% damage reduction boost when receiving an attack. All right, he does have that active skill domain, as we mentioned a minute ago, that can be activated when there's another space traveling warriors or terrifying conquerors ally attacking in the same turn, starting from the 3rd turn from his entry turn. Okay, it creates the domain that lasts for 3 turns, and that domain will give space traveling warriors, terrifying conquerors, enemies, and allies attack defense 15% plus an additional 10% attack defense for characters who belong to planetary destruction category. It also increases the damage received by superclass allies and enemies by 10%. So as you can see, he is doing a lot. He's got some major support going on, as well as some major offense and defense that's happening. So let's actually break all that down for what it looks like. So we've drummed up for you here a nice little formatted unit guide, same one we used for the Turles, with of course modifications to fit the new, or same one we used with Metal Cooler with of course the modifications to fit the Turles. So as you can see, right, we're basing this off of 55% stats, no added bonuses, just kind of raw. We're also not including support in this, but we will include his domain. So as you can see, right, if we look at the breakdown of his skills, right, base attack is at 17,000, base defense is at 10,000, and that's what we're going to be working with here. So we have our leader skill buffs for 440% because, right, double 220 lead. Passive includes that 250% from his basic effects. Multiplicative passive on his attack is 400%. 100%, and that is because we're pulling that from a couple different places, right? If we actually look here, right, hit that. The 400% comes during the domain, right? So 200% attack here and 200% attack when the Tree of Might is active. So just so you kind of understand where that is coming from. He's also getting 115% from Link skills and then 25% from his domain with an additional key multiplier of 200% since he is a terrifying, since he is got 24 key. Defense, same thing, although lower on the multiplicative passive and lower on the Link skill totals, right? But everything else remains the same. Now, what that produces, right, on his active skill turn, which is really what we're concerned about when we're looking about his damage, is about 100 million, 99 million effective damage. Except the thing is he's got crit during that during his domain, so you're actually looking more at this stat here, the 125 mil, and that's pretty standard for 55%. Defense total, right, once you factor in the receiving and attack, the extra 300% defense post super, right, he's going to get about 3 points. Once the domain is up, he's got about 2.6 million defense, and remind you, that's with guard, that's with the additional damage reduction that he has, so that's pretty good. Post super, right, with an additional super attack effect, he's up over 3 million with 3.7 actually post super, right? So this is his defense with that 300% proc, right? His actual start of turn defense is like 600k, I think. With, of course, the guard and the damage reduction, right? But once he receives the attack and gets the additional 300%, it's 2.6 million. Now, post 18 key, he's going to have 3 million defense. If he gets an additional super, 3.7 million. If he gets another additional super, 4.3 million. Now, to help activate that, of course, as we talked about with his hidden potential in that hidden potential video, you want to be focusing on the additional attacks, maybe a little bit of sub dodge, but really focusing on those additional attacks, right? And then, of course, including any additional buffs that can come from his special equips. He does have 2 defensive special equips, which are really going to help out this defensive number here. Although we did not factor in that extra defense here for this calculation, just his base. So it actually can be a little bit higher if you use the correct orb. So now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and let's head on over to the 55% showcase. Now that we have an idea of what we're dealing with in the numbers that we should be seeing, let's go ahead and let's test this out. So we're going to head on over to the 55%. All right, so we are loaded up here. We're going to run the Daima Forku stage here for the showcase, just because, it's a bit of a tough stage. He builds up, he's got a decent build that we can manage, so we'll just run this. So we do have the Broly support memory. It's only giving us an extra 10%, but I mean, as you can see here, we've got a little, we've got basically nothing on him except our level 10 links here. So let's, I don't know if I want to keep going. I guess so. That's going to mess up our metal coolers, but I guess we don't have a choice. Okay, so already seeing here a problem I'm not going to be liking with Turles. Now, maybe this gets fixed with the Fizz Turles EZA and his support units. Not looking at that. All right, so there's that start of turn that we were talking about. We don't have any domain up. We haven't received an attack yet, so pretty low start of turn, but I mean, it's honestly not that bad. It just means like he's obviously not going to go slot 1, you know what I mean? He does have that extra 30% damage reduction, but it's only going to go so far, right? I wouldn't stick him in slot 1, except on his active skill turn. That would pretty much be the only time I would try to stick him slot 1, and even then that's kind of risky, right? Like example, turn 3 Triku fight, I wouldn't put him slot 1 for even on the domain. Okay, so not bad. Offense is kind of low, and so he's going to be one of those characters like the Daima Forku, where if you don't get that 24 key, you're really going to feel the lack of offense. Which, I mean, it's not. The only difference between him and Daima Forku in this situation is, Turles, while his damage is helpful for sure, it's not as necessary, right? There's plenty of other big damage dealers on the team, so you could probably get away with not doing major damage with him, right? And just letting him focus on doing what he does best, which is, of course, support. All right, so let's see here. I guess, yeah, we go for the STR orbs. Yeah, let's go for the STR orbs. There we go. All right, decent setup here. Now, of course, that that other metal cooler is going to end up coming in on this rotation, which is, of course, going to put us in a bit of a predicament here, as it may not. There we go. I mean, it should be fine. I'm just worried about proccing that giant form a little too early. But honestly, it'll probably be fine. It won't be the worst thing in the world. There we go. We get the additional dodges. All right, and out comes King Cole with that 34 million. Wild. Excellent. All right, we get another. Nope. Okay. At least we get the dodges. Okay. So. Okay, so really good defense there now. It just takes that one turn, right? Get built up, get the support flowing through the team here. So let's go ahead and let's pop the domain here. So now hopefully you can see a little bit better on the offensive side out of him, because we're going to be able to get that 24 key a little bit easier here. So there we go. Yeah, look at that. That's what we want. We're also getting support from the Fizz Cooler, which does help. Now, this is obviously isn't the greatest setup for him in terms of links, right? We got max 3 links here, but should still work. All right. I think what's really important is just seeing how effective this domain is at assisting this team. It's honestly kind of crazy how good it is. There we go. We get another one. Dodge. Beautiful. Would have been nice to see Turles take that damage. Yeah, 127 million. So, right. If we think back to our graphic, that makes sense. That's exactly what we expected to see from Turles there on that domain turn. A little bit higher, of course, because now we're factoring that support. And his defense is also a little bit higher too, right? Because we've got Goma's 20% defensive support plus the support that Cooler is providing. So honestly, pretty dang impressive, if I do say so myself here. Excellent. Look at all of that big boy damage. Yeah, I think that's what this guy just needed. He needed that domain to start popping off here. Excellent. Look at Cooler go, man. He didn't want to stop. Excellent. That way, damage is just waterfalling here with this domain up. Okay, I like what Turles is doing here. So, like I said, giant form shenanigans. A little bit earlier than I wanted it to be, but here it is. So we'll go ahead and start grabbing these orbs here. Alrighty, so we are finished up with that giant form. Unfortunately, we only got 2 turns, but as you can see with the domain up, we actually pumped out a lot of damage. So, I mean, really, that's more of what we're seeing here with Turles is just what he can do on that first turn that he shows up, and then what his domain provides starting from the third turn. Of course, since it's an active skill, you don't have to use the domain right away, right? You can save it until it would be most beneficial. He's still going to be pumping out, 70 mil supers-ish without the domain, so it's still going to be pretty good. Defensively, I mean, as a floater, he'll be fine. My only beef is that he doesn't provide that support after the fourth turn without the domain up, which I would really like if he had just continued to support, but I mean, Fizz Turles might kind of ribbony that a bit, but we'll see. Okay. All right. So getting some good damage here. Alrighty. Look at that. Beautiful. And I think what we'll do on the next turn is we'll use a Fruit of the Tree of Might, just to kind of test out, see how much damage we can actually make him do with it. I think that's what we'll do next turn. Yeah, that'll be cool. There we go. Not a whole lot of damage there, but at least we tank the normals. And then our second metal cooler going to do a bunch of damage here. Yeah, because it looks like whatever's happening next turn, it's taking down Daima Goku, right? Like, just amazing how much that damage snowballs once that domain pops off. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. They really do cook with these villain domains. We need some superclass domains to start doing this for teams, man. Because it is crazy what this is doing. Just imagine this going to be with, imagine this domain being up, when we get our eventual final form Frieza this year, right? With that terrifying Conqueror's Planetary Destruction buff. It's going to be huge. There we go. All right. So now we're into the next rotation here. After he's done blowing up my metal cooler. Perfect. Okay, so I guess we pop the Goma Giant form. There we go. Do some damage here with the active. Wild. 87 mil with that active. Crazy. Okay, let's grab that. Let's take that. Yeah, alright, let's just grab the 24 key there. Okay, in comes that super. $14 mil. About to be expected from him. And there we go. Perfect. All right. Look at that. All right. And then, yeah, so we get out of giant form and then we'll use the fruit and see what kind of big damage we can actually make this guy do. Alrighty, so let's grab that. Okay, we got a nice little path here of orbs. Perfect. Excellent. And then we'll send off, I guess. Ooh, okay. Wow, that fruit did a lot for our defense. Oh, no. We should have put him in slot 1. That's 300 mil. He's going to kill, isn't he? Oh, okay, maybe not. He's got the additional super. Oh, there we go. Perfect. No, bro never does an additional super, and the one time he does. Okay, that's all right. I mean, we kind of saw what we needed to see really here with Turles at 55%, right? We saw him in turn one doing his job, right? Pretty decent defense, about, like I said, a little 600k start of turn, right, for this first turn. But once that domain goes off, once he supers, he starts getting into some really good positions here, both offensively and defensively. Remember, he's gonna have guard, he's gonna have that 60% damage reduction, so he's gonna be good in most scenarios. So let's go ahead and let's flip over to the next portion of the video, the link partners and teams. All right, so if you guys remember from our team video, right, we have several different teams that we built around him, and they all center around understanding who his link partners are, right? So when using this guy, right, if you want to prioritize his offense, you're going to prioritize those big bad bosses links, that brutal beatdown, that destroyers of the universe, right, fierce battle, legendary power, Team Turles, thirst for conquest. Maximizing all of these links gets you about 110% extra offense, which of course we did discuss in the passive calculations here, right? So that makes sense. On the other hand, right, only about 65% is coming from links. So that means we want to do our best to maximize, especially getting the defensive links here, big bad bosses, destroyers of the universe. Those are really what we're going to be looking for those. And of course, right, best partner to do that is the LR Team Turles. We'll have to see how they handle the Fizz Turles EZA, but with some extra added support, he can honestly become a viable option. He's already a viable option with Turles' support combined with the domain and the extra support that's happening on Terrifying Conquerors. Any more support and you're looking at a unit that might just make a full year's comeback. Maybe not for some of the more incredible supers out there, but definitely to be able to handle most regular normals in most of the fights. So he is going to be a great option as a partner for him when you build your teams, right? Again, he's giving everything except for Team Turles, which the only thing you're really losing out of Team Turles is Key too, which, although now that I think about it, that is kind of a big deal for him, needing that 24 key. Otherwise, you're mostly going to be focusing on his 4 and his 3 link partners, right? 3 link partners are going to be the most common: Cooler, King Cold, LR Bobbity, LR Garlic Jr., right? 4 link partners, of course, with the Goma, very, very helpful. So that's pretty much how you're going to want to build the teams that center around helping this guy out. Of course, we did talk about some of the teams that work the best for him, right? One of the best teams for him is actually this one here under the Metal Cooler, right? Having double Metal Cooler as lead, keeping him with either Cooler or Goma, right? With your floating Garlic Jr. or King Cold and your floating STR Turles. This is going to work for most events in the game. Now, other options include using the movie bosses Golden Frieza and Gogeta, utilizing the planetary destruction under the Beerus. This one's a little more difficult, but it is workable, right? And can work, you know, if you've got some Realm of God enemies, it's going to be an incredibly powerful team. So these are just some of the teams that we utilized. Of course, you saw one of these teams already in our showcase video, this one right here. Of course, if you want to use other teams, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just some of the ones that I came up with to make it work. We even built you guys a team here that you can utilize here for if you didn't pull the new Turles. Of course, this banks on EZA Fizz Turles getting an EZA, which he should, but he'll definitely help that. This is pretty much the only way to run him if you don't have the if you don't have the Turles, by running him as a friend with Fizz Turles as lead. You can fill the team with characters like STR, LR Turles, the Fizz Turles, assuming he's Yays, and his banner units, assuming he's Yays. And the 7th option, right, includes Raditz. The 6th and 7th option include Raditz, and the Int Turles, assuming he's Yays. If not him, then you can easily toss another Space Traveling Warrior or Pure Saiyan on the team. It's more of a flex option than anything. So, with that said, guys, that is it for our video. This is our full definitive guide for the LR Teq Turles. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. You found this helpful. Hopefully you guys like this new format for the 55% showcases. Gives a more holistic view of understanding what it is that we're dealing with when we talk about these characters, and hopefully you guys found it helpful. I know got quite a few positive comments from you guys the last time we had one of these with the metal cooler, so looking forward to hearing what you guys think on this one here. So guys, that's it for the video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below let us know what do you guys think of the new complete unit guide. Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching and aloha.